So I decided to go check out the woods and the trails and the park that's over here, since I'm possibly looking for a home to stay in temporarily while I fix up this car and make money out of it, and get the business going. Because the type of business that I have doesn't necessarily matter where it goes up. You know what I mean? Most of it's going to be remote anyways, and it's going to be freelancing. So I just really need a home base quickly. But I noticed there's some trails back here which leads to nothing, it seems. I see some old architecture down there though. There's stuff down there, there's signs down there, and it looks like some stuff was down there a long time ago. They got stairs. It's actually pretty cool. It's kind of eerie that all this is not here anymore. It's all under, It shows you, that's another thing about the Bible. The Bible clearly teaches you that nothing ever lasts, that anything man-made never lasts. The only thing that ever lasts is God's word, God's promises. And God promises that He's going to bring all of us joy and happiness for whoever subjects to Him, believes in Him. But it just shows you, like all this stuff that, this once was a thriving place. Which those plaques look like they might have something to be read on them. There's one down there, so let's go see what they say. It has a weird smell down here as well. You can smell the pollution. You can definitely smell it. It's not too bad, but it's there. And you can see it too. You can see it like when you see how it floods. You see how the plants, how they turn all white. That's all the mud, obviously. But it's not that great. And it looks like they do have a trail that goes that way. So we might walk down it. I locked up the car. So I also wanted to get a workout in. I gotta go meditate and do my yoga. Automotive history on the Rouge. See? That's what I thought. There's a lot of people don't understand this whole area, how it used to be full of Indians and how they pushed everyone out and built all of this. Which is a good thing, but it's not. But a lot of this area got contaminated, including Flint, Michigan. You can't even drink the water over there because of all the mercury and everything else that was dumped into the river by these companies. And you can't really blame the company. You have to blame the people, not the company. But the government did step in, and that's what you got going on in other countries as well, like India and China, for instance, right? But you got it on a bigger scale, a much bigger scale, on a global scale, So without all the enforcements that we have put in place, like America has, United States of America, which all this industrial revolution, all that stuff happened, 100 years ago, 80 years ago, there's systems put in place. We put things in place because we seen our earth, we seen our country getting polluted, which these other countries, they're not enforcing it like we have. So, that's why it's so important to make it more aware and so that we can support each other and change it in other countries, right? So, Rouge Park, Sorensen Promenade, it says. The Dallinger estate said Ford built a lavish estate for his close associate Ray Dallinger, who helped design Ford's first V8 engine, and Evangeline Cote, Henry's personal secretary. Their mansion still stands on the Rouge River today and is a private residence. And then there's the Fralinis estate, which I tried to take you guys by, which they're renovating it. It says, by the 1920s, Henry Ford had reached the height of his power, but having become disenchanted with the stress of running his company, he began retreating from public life. He accrued hundreds of acres of woodlands where he built his opulent Fairlane estate in 1915, which is over there in Dearborn, which I believe my car came from. The Henry Ford Museum says further downriver lies Greenfield Village and the Henry Ford Museum, established in 1929 as the Edison Institute, which I have worked in there. I have been in that building many, many times. You got Lovett Hall over there. You have Greenfield Village. I worked upstairs. I'd walk across the bridge all the time by that place. In the actual museum, there's a bridge that goes to the cafeteria from the actual museum, and I'd walk back and forth all the time for lunch and to take care of stuff for Michigan Cafe. They actually remodeled it downstairs. It's a lot nicer than it was when I was there. A lot more efficient too, the way they have it set up. It makes more sense than the Rouge plant. It says construction began in 1917 in what would become the largest integrated production factory in the world, shipping in raw products and producing a finished vehicle in a single location, which is right here, Ford Motor Company, you know. And then there's the Sorensen House, which here, this is where we are right now. This is what it's talking about. Here's the Detroit River, which I take you guys to all the time. You know, we're all the way down here in this area, so I'm going to actually walk it. I'm going to walk this way. Which this whole area, you got to remember that this whole area, all those houses that I'm about to take you through, that I'm about to find a house to stay in, you know, a small one hopefully, something that I can afford and I can pay off quickly, something that is comfortable, a brick home, you know, with a garage. You got to remember that during 1915 and all that stuff, there was still racial discrimination going on. You had all the blacks coming up here, right? And other ethnic groups as well. The blacks weren't the only ones that got ethnically discriminated against. People tend to forget that. The Jews, they came over here. You know, they all worked. You got to remember that Detroit was one of the most, Dearborn in Detroit, Wayne County was probably the richest. It just told you, right? The factory was the world's biggest production place where you could get a car. Not only did it provide cars, it provided jobs for people that could make, an average person could come here, that they could escape slavery, they could escape oppression, they could come here and have a brick home, a home that I'm about to be purchasing soon, and they could live in it and make a decent amount of money working 40 hours a week and provide their family and have a vehicle to move to and from. That was the big difference in Detroit compared to Chicago and, you know, New York and those places, LA. So here's another one. It says the Sorensen history on the Rouge. It says Rouge Park, Sorensen Promenade. It says, I often wonder where I would be today had my father missed the boat to America. It says Charles Sorensen, 1881 to 1968, was one of Henry Ford's right-hand men, contributing significantly to the success of the Ford motor industry throughout the 20th century. It says, born in Copenhagen, Denmark, he moved to the United States at age 4. Charles Sorensen landed his first job as a pattern maker at the age of 16 in Buffalo, New York. And then we'll go ahead and read the first one right here. It says, born in Copenhagen, Denmark, he moved to the United States at age 4. It says, Sorensen's a man. For 40 years, Sorensen was one of Henry Ford's closest lieutenants, an instrumental figure who could quickly interpret Henry Ford's ideas into drawings, patterns, and rough models. He gained an infamous reputation amongst factory workers as a harsh taskmaster. That's another thing. I'm having problems with my developing and stuff. I'm hitting a roadblock. I need help. People that have had experience actually working more into the architecture of what it is that I'm trying to do and succeed. So, you know, it's very hard to accomplish what it is I'm accomplishing without people, right? And this is why he had lieutenants, you know, and this is why I'm becoming a CEO of my own business, because I need help to finish the overall product. So it's very, very hard. So to do stuff on your own on a global scale, it's not easy. Even, you know, Elon Musk even said fucking, you know, he's famous. He's made all that money is because he knew people. He knew people that knew things. and he knew things, and he was able to be there at the right time and provide the right things to the right people at the right time. You know, he's seen it, he imagined it, he could feel it, he lived it, he followed it. Therefore, he became it. So, anyways, it says the Piquette plant says 1904 Sorensen met Henry Ford, and in 1905 entered employment at newly built Piquette Avenue plant in Detroit. There he aided Ford in designing both the prototype Model T and the first experimental assembly line with a disciplined work ethic. Sorensen quickly rose to assistant superintendent. It says Sorensen earned the nickname Cast Iron Charlie. It says Rouge Plant. By 1925, the Rouge Plant was the new seat of the Ford Empire. Sorensen earned his reputation as the unquestioned enforcer of production efficiency and an opponent of the unionization. In 1928, Sorensen was instrumental in developing the revolutionary Model A. He retired to Miami, Florida as a G. Charles Sorensen died in 1968. Arsenal of Democracy. The Detroit News Walter P. Reuther Library. This has got to be World War II when they made all the planes. Yep, during World War II, Sorensen masterminded the designing, building, and staffing of the Michigan Willow Run bomber plant, which is over there down in 94, which I'll take you guys down. I used to have a boat with my father in Lake Belleville, and it's not that far from there, from Ypsilanti. I actually was talking about it once in a video, and I forgot the actual name of it. And that's the name of it. I was talking about how the girls used to stick I think I was talking about it. Maybe I was telling Bill about it. But the girls used to stick letters in these planes. So the girls, all the guys went off to war. The girls would be building these planes over here at the plant that they're talking about, right down the road from here. All right? They would actually take love letters and they would hide them in the plane. Like they would know where these planes were going, who was flying them, what group, all that stuff. And they would hide love letters inside the plane for the guys when they would be flying and shit. But it says, during World War II, Sorensen masterminded the designing, building, and staffing of the Michigan Willow Run bomber plant, which we already read, but it says, Willow Run closed in 1945. Upon Henry Ford's death, it was speculated that Sorensen would lead Ford Motor, but he was ousted in a power struggle. Well, you gotta remember too, the family. It's always family. And even if he did run the power struggle, the family probably would have masterminded some type of hit. Assassination. Guaranteed. Come on, man. You just heard what it said. The world's biggest production company in the world. That means they were the richest people in the world at one time or whatnot. And that shit's full of mud. Somebody was just back here with the bike, which I wish I had my bike. I miss riding bikes, showing you guys those videos, which eventually I'll get one. But they got a nice fucking bench over here and shit. You see this shit, how that used to be, how it gets all flooded, how things change. But look how nice how they did shit back then, man. I can't walk through here. I won't look at my shoes. And I gotta get in my car. Maybe another day. Man, it's all dry. We'll get some, that'd be cool photos right here. Should go get the camera, but we're gonna go. I'm not gonna be able to walk down that. And I don't see another plaque to read. I'm sure it leads down to the house or one of those houses or something, which we can go explore. So that's cool that it's back here. I've never been back here in this particular part. That's why I came back here, which is cool. I knew that, I know this whole area is all historical. And I'm surprised you don't see much about it on the internet. There's a few people that I go on YouTube and actually look up and stuff. Which was this one guy. I've been trying to find him. I used to have him on my old account. I've been trying to find him. I can't remember his name. He has a really fucking weird voice. But he does these cool ass documentaries about Detroit. And somehow he gets in all these buildings. And he finds like actual like papers and photos and like families, and then he like tries to track down the people and like, you know, the information and whatnot he finds and compiles it all together. It's pretty cool. But all these houses, man, you know, you gotta put in perspective that you have the biggest production company in the world, right? You have all these families coming over here. They gotta have a place to stay. You know, you got all the whites and blacks who are fighting, right? That's why Detroit had the riots, because there were so many people coming up here to work. Escaping the South. Man, these shoes are bad. He said I'm gonna go down to no hands if I get hit by a car. It's fun riding through here. Listen, you can ride a dirt bike through here all day long and not get fucked with. That's another cool thing about Detroit. I mean, you can also die too. They can also chase you down. That's happened, but if you're like me, you're not stupid. Like the people that be doing fucking stupid shit, flying down the fucking main roads and doing wheelies and all that dumb shit. No, you come over here, you ride through here, through the trails, through the woods, you know what I mean? And plow through the fields and shit. You don't bother nobody. They don't fuck with you. Well, I wanted to go for a long walk, but it's too muddy back there. And I don't want to... If I go back there the way it is now, it'll take me forever to track back, and I have Mentora in the car, so... But we're going to go drive through that neighborhood. Partly over here, and I might go over there. And then I'm probably going to head back to my grandma's, because dude hasn't called me yet. He said he's going to go look for a seat. If he finds one, then he's going to ask for my help, but he said he might not find one tonight or today. But he said he's going to try to get all the parts together anyways before he really has me come help him and pay me. So that's fine. Hopefully, I get a job tomorrow, work tomorrow. The power is back on. I'm going to go to my grandma's, go spend time with her and get on the internet. Go drive around this neighborhood. Turn on the camera for a minute for you guys if I see any nice houses.